And now the final thing we have to talk about has to do with this past week's Friday Night Smackdown, the chaoticness of that show, and how one specific man got to live his dream in being an announcer or a commentator in the WWE. So this last Friday night on SmackDown, the commentary team started the night as Tom Phillips, Renee Young, and Aiden English. Roughly 30 minutes into that show, Pat McAfee actually replaced Aiden English, and today McAfee talked about how all of this came together on his DAZN show, stating the following. He said, I got a text from Triple H. Said, you home? I had heard the news of what happened with their planes breaking down or whatever in Saudi Arabia and all of that talent, commentators, producers, all being stuck in the Middle East due to a plane malfunction. I look at this and go, oh damn, yes, I am home. I get a phone call immediately and he goes, hey, have you heard about what happened? I absolutely have. He said, I haven't pitched this to Vince yet, but if you were to come in and do some commentary and we'll let you do your thing, would you be up for it? Can you get to Buffalo? He said, absolutely. Triple H said, okay, I'll get back to you. So without knowing 100% if Vince is going to sign off on this or whatever, he said, I now have to find my way to Buffalo. I have a plane taking me to Memphis, but that plane's in Florida because I last minute scheduled it to get me to Memphis because I didn't know I was going to be on College game day. He said, I texted the plane company, say, hey, can you get me to Buffalo? They say, no, that's not going to happen. The plane's in Florida. I call another plane company. I look at commercial flights. Is there any plane that can get me from Indianapolis to Buffalo for SmackDown, Fox debut, lifelong dream event? Nothing. He says, I went deep in the playbook. I threw a Hail Mary. I opened up page 147, that page you never open. It's just full of dust. I wiped off that dust and I called Pete Ward, the COO of the Indianapolis Colts. I go, Pete, I would never ask for anything. He said, you don't ask for anything, so what's up? I told him the whole story. At this point, I didn't know if it was 100% that I'd be calling SmackDown, but I gave it a go. I said, is there any way the owner of the Colts, Jim Irsay, will lend me a plane to get there? He's like, let me call you right back. Calls back and goes, Jim says, pack your bags, brother. You got a plane. He said at this point, he still didn't know if he was going to be on SmackDown tonight or not. A couple minutes go by, 10, 15 minutes or whatever. He gets a text from Hunter, says, let's go. Says he calls up P. Ward, says, hey, I can be ready. Give me like 30 minutes. Pack my bags. We're good. He said, I land about an hour and a half, hour 45 before the show goes on the air. Before the show starts, nobody's there. Everybody is stuck in transit. Said, I see Triple H. He's talking to Brock Lesnar. So I kind of wait. As soon as Triple H sees me, he gets up and stops talking with Brock Lesnar. He's like, that's a man you don't want to make mad. It's like I go over to Brock Lesnar. He shakes my hand. He goes, that man's hand engulfed up half of my forearm. It's huge hand hawks. He literally tells Brock, nice to meet you, sir. You're a legend. As Brock goes back to him, you too. He said, I talked to Mr. H. Here we go. What's the plan? He goes, we got a good one for you. He says, I get a text from Michael Cole. Says, have you heard the plan? He goes, not yet. Michael Cole tells him, we got a good one for you. About an hour before the show goes on the air, they pull everybody into Vince's office. He said, I'm wearing my sleeveless hoodie and my jorts. I got a sports coat and a button down just in case they want me to change and some stuff that went down in WrestleMania happens again. So finally the show starts. About 8:30, half hour into the show, they send me out there. I do my thing. At the time of my life. When I say I had a blast, I mean I had a blast. They let me do my thing. He said Vince was in my ear, said a couple things, heard him laugh a couple times. Heard him laugh once. Stephanie was in my ear. She said a couple things. I heard her laugh. It was great. It was a success. And Pat McAfee, I thought he was great. For not knowing, 4 or 5 hours before that he was doing this, I thought he was great. He played up as the hype man for NXT. He got all of their guys over. He got over the whole, hey, the main roster wants to start a war. My boys in NXT will come and kick down that door. And it's just crazy that it's like, Triple H was like, I want you to do this. But I don't know if Vince wants you to do it. But Pat, even though not knowing 100%, did what he had to do to find a way to get to Buffalo. That shows how committed he is to working with the WWE and how much he loves what he does with the WWE. Because he could have been like, Triple H, I'll do it. You going to find me a flight? You going to find me a plane? You going to get me there? No. He took it upon himself. He did his due diligence to dig deep in that playbook and call up P. Ward and ask if the owner of the Indianapolis Colts would get him a plane and fly him to Buffalo. Crazy, but awesome.